What's going on there, YouTube? And welcome back to another comic book video. This is the channel where we sit down and cover different comic book stories from different comic book companies. Today, we're going to jump back over to Marvel Comics and continue our coverage over the X-Men reading order. Now, today, we're going to cover Uncanny X-Men number 148 and 149. Now, these two issues right here do not go together actually at all. These are both one-shot storylines, and the reason why we are covering these two books is because one, Chris Claremont does introduce a bunch of new characters to us, and number two, because there are small plot points that do lead up to the big Uncanny X-Men number 150, which we're going to cover very soon. So if you do like today's comic book video, hit that like button down below and subscribe. But here you go, guys. Uncanny X-Men number 148 and 149. Okay, so these next few issues are really two small stories that I'm only going to cover because we do meet some new characters, build up to the big plot point for Uncanny X-Men number 150. And we see the return of Dazzler as well, who we have not seen in a long time. But the book opens up with Cyclops and Forrester, who are trapped on some island. In our last video, I explained that Cyclops and Forrester were on a boat together, but the boat crashed and ended up on this island. But at the end of our last video, we saw them find some kind of huge villain base on this island. And the question is now, who does this base belong to? Something else to point out is that while they were on this island, the two of them have grown very close to one another, except Cyclops is afraid to move on because he still loves Jean Grey, and Jean Grey had only died about 10 issues ago. But he is falling in love with Forrester, but he is having a hard time actually moving forward with her, so she gets upset when he tells her no because of Jean Grey. She does run off, but she comes back once she realizes how wrong it is to leave a man behind who can't see. But getting back to the X-Men, who have no idea that Cyclops is stuck on an island at the moment, we see Wolverine and Nightcrawler doing some kind of training session. But the reason why I'm pointing this out is because Wolverine was able to beat Nightcrawler in a hide and seek kind of game with his animal instincts, but he almost stabbed Nightcrawler as a joke. The reason why I'm pointing this out is because we see a conversation between Angel, Storm, and Charles Xavier about whether Wolverine should stay on the team. In our last video to Angel, Wolverine is dangerous because of how fast Wolverine killed a Doombot that looked like Storm, and Dr. Doom was trying to use it as a way to trick Wolverine. But it did not work because Wolverine's senses of smell was able to tell him it was a robot. But for Angel, he was too wild and careless with that decision. The conversation ends with Angel flying off. But Chris Claremont quickly changes over to Colossus, Banshee and the sister of Colossus, which is Illyana. This was Chris Claremont planting the seeds that Illyana will become a mutant and join the New Mutants down the road. Right now, she is just a little girl, but soon she'll be more than that. Then after that, we get a page where Banshee meets his daughter, Therese Rook. I hope I pronounced her last name correctly, that apparently his ex-wife had a daughter named Therese, and she'll become an X-Men down the road named Siren. She actually first appeared in Spider-Woman number 38, volume 1, and that is why Spider-Woman is here at the moment. But this is another character that Chris Claremont introduces, but also we see Moira McTaggart is not happy about the idea her man has a child, something she can't give him at the moment. But the story does jump over to Storm, Kitty Pryde, Spider-Woman, and Stevie Hunter, who is the dance instructor to Kitty Pryde. They all go to some kind of big event where Dazzler is the main event. Dazzler is able to emit huge amounts of light and actually make blasts with these lights. While they are enjoying this event, down below, some mutant who has left the sewers This mutant was living in the sewers for a long time because of his appearance, but with him making ruckus down below, it makes Storm, Kitty Pryde, and Spider-Woman swing into action to stop this new character that is causing problem at this event. The next few pages are more of Spider-Woman, Storm, and Kitty Pryde trying to fight against this new character who we don't get to see his face at all until the end of this book. The reason why is because to add some kind of mystery vibe around this character at first, all we see is that this character has some kind of superhuman strength, but he tells us that he is someone who scares people because of the way he looks. His father threw him away after a while because he looked weird, but the heroes are able to stop him and give us the chance to learn who this character is. This character's name is Caliban, who has this appearance that will scare someone easily, but he has the ability of super strength. Also has the ability to detect other mutants in the area. That is why he is here, because he has been so lonely for so long. He sensed Storm and Kitty Pryde and decided to say hi, but when Storm offers him to join the X-Men, he disappears once the cops finally shows up. But to close on this first chapter of this book, we actually pick up with Cyclops and Forrester, who are stuck on the island. Well, they finally find out who is the owner of this island and this base, which is the worst X-Men villain at the time, which of course is Magneto. So in the beginning of this issue, we pick up with Charles Xavier, who is trying to figure out how to find Magneto. Again, we are building up to the big X-Men 150 issue that is coming soon. So all smaller plot points in this book and before this one are building up to that moment. So right now, this is kind of small because it is Charles Xavier realizing how dangerous Magneto is, and Charles Xavier needs to find him. Also, Charles Xavier is realizing, or worried, because since Magneto had came back for the first time in the Chris Claremont era, the X-Men have not been able to beat Magneto. Except he is interrupted by Kitty Pryde, who we see in this book is trying to change her outfit or something. It looks horrible, but that is the point, and it was the 80s at this point in comics. Either way, Charles Xavier sends her away because he is upset that she had bothered him. You have the rest of the X-Men trying to help cheer her up because they can tell how sad she is, and she is kind of ignoring all of their questions, but they don't really get the chance to completely cheer her up since Charles Xavier calls the X-Men up to get ready to go on another mission. The story does switch over to the X-Men being on the Blackbird and heading towards their mission, which is just them going to the old base of Magneto to see that maybe he is there or he left any kinds of clues that could tell them where he is hiding now. Except while they are heading that way, they find out that Kitty Pryde has snuck on the plane. Of course, she should not be there because she is an X-Men in training, but here she is. So the X-Men have no choice but to go with her, and hopefully nothing happens to her on this mission. Now, this base was seen back in Uncanny X-Men number 113, where you have the X-Men being captured by Magneto, but they had escaped. This base was in a volcano to bring up some old memories. Either way, this is the point where you have the X-Men decide that they should possibly split up to see if they can find any kind of clues. Colossus and Kitty Pryde go together, of course, because they like each other, and Wolverine, Storm, and Nightcrawler go their separate way. Now, this story does lean back to a character we have not seen in a long time, and that character's name is Garak, the supposed stone god. A long time ago, there was a ship that crashed and only one person survived the crash. He found some statue that was made for the original stone god, Garak. But once he drank some weird drink, it turned him into, I think, the avatar for the stone god and becoming the new Garak. But he died when the X-Men last fought him. While Storm is wandering around, she begins to remember him and hears his voice, and so she asks Wolverine to make sure that there is no one here with them in the base. This leads us to the moment where we see Kitty Pryde and Colossus walking down some old part of this base. While they are walking and actually getting the chance to talk to one another, that is when we see Garak attack Colossus, taking him out. Kitty Pryde is able to get away, except when she thinks she is about to escape from Garak, he punches a hole in the wall that lets lava flow into the same hallway they are all in at the moment. Also, we learn here that Magneto has saved Garak after the last time the X-Men have fought Garak and made Garak protect Magneto's old base, and that is what he is doing right now. Now, the rest of this issue is more of the rest of the X-Men dealing with Garak, who is protecting the old base of Magneto, except once you have all of the X-Men finally coming together and also throwing in some moments where the X-Men get lucky, we actually see Garak only lose to Kitty Pryde because she phased right when he was about to attack her, and he falls into a deeper part of the base. That actually gives the X-Men the chance to leave the base knowing that they were able to defeat Garak, but they only got lucky. But to close on the last page of this issue and building up to the big Uncanny X-Men number 150, we see that Cyclops and Forrester are still in the base of Magneto, but when they were confronted by him earlier, they gave him a fake name to hide their identity. Except Magneto tells Cyclops that he recognized Cyclops and that he is safe here. Also tells them that he can remove his bandages because Cyclops' powers will not do any kind of harm, meaning that for some crazy way, Magneto was able to turn off Cyclops' powers. And this is where we are going to end today's video. So please hit that like button down below and also subscribe to the channel for more content to come in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoyed today's video.